Imagine standing in a quiet American cornfield at dawn. The sky still pale and the world half asleep when a backhoe's bucket suddenly strikes something that shouldn't be there. The metallic clink echoes across the empty field, and as the dirt falls away, a dark carved stone slab appears edged, weathered, and impossibly out of place. Moments later, a wooden crate emerges from the ground. Its corners cracked, its surface wrapped in layers of dirt that feel 1,000 years old. Inside are objects that shouldn't exist here: small statuettes, cloth wrappings, and a stone tag marked with symbols that look hauntingly like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. People gather around, frozen between disbelief and wonder. In that moment, it feels as if history itself has cracked open, hinting at a story buried far from where it belonged. A simple morning routine becomes the beginning of a mystery powerful enough to challenge everything people think they know about the past. As news spreads, the scene transforms from a quiet field into a buzzing investigation. Photos leak online, creating a storm of curiosity. A local reporter arrives, followed by neighbors, the county sheriff, and eventually an archaeologist from a nearby university. She studies the site with a careful eye, asking questions about the soil layers, the crate's placement, and whether anything was moved before experts arrived. The artifacts are cataloged piece by piece: a chipped amulet, a tiny animal figurine, a faded wrapping that feels brittle to the touch, and that strange stone tag whose symbols resemble ancient scripts. But resemblance doesn't equal proof. Experts warn that convincing fakes can mirror real artifacts with surprising accuracy. Meanwhile, the community is torn some sea opportunity, imagining tourists and fame, while others fear government intervention, legal complications, or the arrival of treasure hunters. Tests are ordered: microscopic analysis, chemical study, and radiocarbon dating. Everyone hopes the results will settle the debate, yet the first hints only deepen the mystery. Weeks pass, and the lab results reveal a puzzle instead of a conclusion. Some tool marks on the stone appear ancient, carved by hand. Others look suspiciously modern, as if a machine touched them recently. A small statuette shows traces of a blue-green glaze that resembles Egyptian faience-intel chemical testing, reveals it's closer to a modern 20th century reproduction. Even the cloth wrappings defy certainty. Some fibers seem centuries old, others strangely recent. Confusion ripples across academic circles and online forums. Some experts argue that authentic artifacts can travel through time in unpredictable ways, passing through collectors, museums, and private estates before ending up misplaced or hidden. Others insist the mix of old and new materials suggests a hoax, or a reconstructed assemblage, something made to look ancient but built from pieces spanning different eras. Suddenly, the mystery becomes bigger than the objects themselves. It becomes a debate about evidence, history, and the human desire to believe extraordinary stories. As theories clash, people begin offering explanations that say as much about human imagination as they do about archaeology. Some claim the find proves ancient transatlantic contact, suggesting travelers from the Old World reached the Americas long before Columbus. Others propose a more grounded theory. The crate may have belonged to a 19th century collector. Its contents part of a traveling exhibition or a private collection lost in transit and accidentally buried. Another theory, seductive but alarming, is that someone manufactured the entire assemblage to generate attention, money, or online fame. Each explanation comes with gaps, contradictions, and emotional weight. The most fascinating part is how these interpretations reveal what people want history to be: mysterious, dramatic, and open to possibilities that challenge the official record. Meanwhile, the discovery transforms the small town itself. Businesses get calls from tourists. A tiny local museum becomes unexpectedly busy. Law enforcement steps in to protect the site from vandals, while lawyers begin circling around questions of ownership and cultural heritage. Indigenous communities request a seat at the table because the land itself has its own layered history, long before any crates or carvings arrived. Social media, as always, fuels the fire. Amateur researchers post comparisons. Conspiracy theorists create long threads claiming government cover-ups, and skeptics dissect every tiny inconsistency. Amid all this noise, the people closest to the discovery share quieter, more personal reactions: curiosity, fear of attention, pride, confusion, and a desire for the truth, whatever it may be. By the time the excitement fades and experts deliver their final cautious statements, the truth remains partly hidden. Some evidence suggests modern interference, other details hint at genuine age, and a few pieces refuse to fit neatly into any explanation. The story ends not with a revelation, but with a series of questions that linger long after the cameras and researchers leave. What counts as proof? How do we handle discoveries that sit uncomfortably between fact and fantasy? What responsibilities do communities have when the past suddenly rises from the ground beneath their feet? The power of this mystery isn't just in the artifacts, it's in the way it forces people to think, argue, wonder, and imagine. And perhaps the most striking part of all is the question it leaves viewers with. If something like this could appear in a quiet American field, what else might still be buried out there, waiting to rewrite what we think we know?